I have like three things to tell you, so I don't need much time. So once your live classes are done, what happens with the rest of the process is the whole call about. We send out the email. Some of you are going to get the emails because I know there are folks who are joining this call where your classes will be done probably by the end of this month. So we kind of clubbed everyone together, even though it might be a little sooner for you. So once the classes are done, you will get an email called end of live classes notification. That is just to remind you that you will not receive any Zoom
Mhm.
invites, Zoom links on Tuesdays and Thursdays for
Mhm.
all the classes because your classes are pretty much done with live classes. So at that point, once you receive that notification from Shravanti, students at MediPharm Solutions, you got to go through the process of job placement assistance. So before you go into the job placement, the things that you need to kind of accomplish, the first one is you need to make sure you go through the modules, you know your subject, and you do whatever learning you have to do, writing notes or, however you do your, memory mapping. Once you finish all the modules, and I'm covering as many questions as I can in this time,
Mhm.
so it becomes easier. So you should go through all the modules, not just the core modules, not just the Argus modules, not just the modules that are at the end of the course, but all the modules, and then take the final assessment. You can take this final assessment n number of times. The point of doing final assessment, we did not make it very difficult to do. They're very
Mhm.
easy kind of basic questions. You can take this test any number of times, and once you kind of, I believe, get 40 out of 50 answers right, just take a screenshot of it and send that screenshot to Sravanti, and that will be a proof that you have done your modules, you have done your learning part, your subject is there, and you are ready for certification, the completion
Okay.
certificate. So once we see that screenshot um, from you, we know that you are done with it, and then you move on to the second point where the first part is the course completion, and then we give you the certificate of completion along with the credits and all those things, and that is there for you to just have it in your file, so that just in case if you go to any interviews, you can show them that this is a certificate that I've got from MediPharm Solutions, and it will have, advanced drug safety and pharmacovigilance, advanced clinical research, advanced clinical data management, and all those things. And along with that, we give you credit certificate. What did you go over? What are the modules did you go over to receive this certificate? So we give you both, so that later on in your career, if you want to do any equivalency of credentials, you can still do because you have a credit certificate. That's why we give you both. So once that whole part is done, which is step one, then you move on to your resume part. This is where you will have one-on-one call with me, and based on your circumstances, there are visa issues, there are no relocation, yes to relocation, you're already working, or you're going through some life challenge, whatever. I mean, I hear a lot of things on these calls, and based on our conversation, pretty much then you kind of have a personalized approach, because until now, getting a certificate part, I believe it should be common for everyone.
Mhm.
Most of the times there should not be any changes, and MediPharm Solutions cannot do any changes until then. But once that call is done, some of you will say that, okay, I need certain things to be met. Now, will all your wishes come true? No, but at least there is someone like myself to listen to you, so that I can at least guide what is possible, what is not possible, and what is feasible and practical for you to move on to, kind of getting a job and stuff. So this is where I believe, me as a mentor and having the experience I have, you got to be a good listener. You don't need to agree to everything I say, but
Mhm.
just to give a benefit of doubt, like what is Dr. Abhishek going to get if I'm going to do what he says? I'm going to be the benefactor here. So if you give some listening ground, I think things will go a long way. We'll talk about that in a bit, because this call is getting recorded, so I don't want to distract myself. So once that call is done, which is pretty much one on one, And once we send out that certificate, you will receive a Calendly link saying that please schedule a call with Dr. So and so at your earliest convenience. Right now I'm doing it, but later on Satya will do it, and Mangala also will do it. um, they they are they are also going to be mentoring some of you. So all three of us in drug safety will be there. If it is CDM, Akanksha and Pratyusha are there. And then if it is clinical research, again Satya, and there's one more physician who's joining, she's going to do it. So there are different mentors for different programs. So they will do those calls, and they'll kind of have a personalized approach, like what you can do, you cannot do. Now once that is done, then we will ask for your resume. Now, the resume, you need to email your most current updated resume, whatever you have until now, as is, to MediPharm Solutions. So, MediPharm Solutions, based on the conversation that you had with, whoever the mentor is, will prepare your resume, and that resume you can start uploading it into your
Mhm.
LinkedIn. And the last part after the resume preparation is basically start to apply for jobs. You can apply for jobs, and once you apply for jobs, if you get an at this point, what I would say is, when you receive your resume, um, after the course is done, after the certification is complete, take some time to go through the job placement assistance modules. That they are all in sequence right after the final assessment. There are 17 videos. So go through all those 17 videos in sequence. How do you do a recruiter's call, hiring manager's call, panel interview? How do you draft a story? What do you have to do with your interview preparation when it comes to your resume? All those things, all those nitty gritties, all the questions that you guys are having. What should I do with my LinkedIn profile? I don't have a LinkedIn profile. I already have a LinkedIn profile. Where should this resume go? All those beautiful questions are all answered in those 17 videos. So if you go through them, most of your questions will be clarified. Now,
Mhm.
once you are done with that, the resume is there for you. If you have any questions, just email us or call us, and call me. Most of you have my phone number. And the reason why I keep my line away from MediPharm Solutions is I just want to make sure I'm approachable. And you can call me or you can text me as much as you can, as much as I can. I answer my calls the same day, if not the very next day. Text messages pretty much the same day. But the whole point of doing this is, at some point you have to be self-sustainable, and you are applying for jobs. Once you apply for jobs, you get an interview. Your mode of communication, your portal of communication is students at MediPharm Solutions. If you do screenshots on text messages, it's not going to help you. So just use students at MediPharm Solutions until you get placed for all your communication. In terms of, like, let us say you have an interview, just give yourself at least 24 to 48 hours to do an interview prep. It will not be easier if you just text or email us at 8 o'clock in the morning saying that you have a 12 o'clock interview. Nothing is going
Mhm.
to happen. So
Yeah.
it's not even about us, it's about you. You need to have sufficient time to prep for the interview. So just give yourself some time, and we will do interview preps. The question is, how many interview preps can you do for each student? It's not like a limit, but why do you need to do 10 interviews? I think most of our students should be pretty comfortable in getting a job maybe by the third interview, worst case scenario, for whatever reason. So if I can help you in getting a job and having a career through us, since we interacted and it takes like 1 hour of my life, why not do it? Am I making sense?
Mhm.
So again, there are people, there are circumstances which will be beyond this call here, but just use a lot of common sense. If you completed the course, if you got certified, just to go with the same throttle and go into the job placement as early as possible. Just keep applying for jobs and take guidance as needed with the interview prep that we do one-on-one, and get into a career. Don't give as much, the time between you completing the certificate and completing the course and getting a job. If it is too far, and because you're
Mhm.
not taking action, you're going to lose the whole steam. It's not like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm going to forget the subject. That's not the point. You can refresh the subject, but the point is you will lose a lot of momentum if you give a lot of space to yourself. Now again, there are a lot of ifs and buts at this point. where you may not be control of all your life situations. I get it, but as much as you can control, try to have a sequence to what you're doing so that you're gaining momentum all the time. So these are the three things, guys. What happens after the end of live classes notification is make sure your subject is strong and you are certified. That's number one. Once you get certified, just by sending a screenshot of the final assessment. Second thing is we'll have a one-on-one call. I believe I had calls with most of you on here. I had call with Divya Pavani. I had a call with Revati. Vidya, I had a call. Ayushma, I'm going to have a call with you tomorrow. The same with, I believe, who is the other person? Doc Ade, I'm gonna having a call with you tomorrow. So we are having calls like that. So based on that calls, we'll do your resume. Doc, did I get your name right? So then once the resume is done, the ball is in your court. And that is pretty much how you say farewell to MediPharm Solutions. And like every good thing has to come to an end, and that is where you say goodbye to us. But we would like to be in touch with you when you get an interview. So again, these are all the questions that we have been getting to students at MediPharm Solutions. You guys have your sent from iPhone in the thing, so you should remove it when you're emailing someone, because it's a very straightforward saying that I can do everything on the phone. That's not the right thing to do sometimes. But again, the point is, these are the three things that I wanted to share with you. Now, at this point, I'll kind of ask if you have any questions. Please use the chat feature right now. I'll stop the recording here.